Hey Scottsdale kids, my name is Stephanie and I'm so excited to be with you guys this morning. For those of you who don't know me, I work over here at the Crosspoint Center with our middle school and high school students. And so for those of you who are fifth graders, you're gonna start hanging out with me soon when you're sixth grade. And I'm so excited for that. But I have to tell you something. The more you hang out with me, the more that you're over here, you're gonna start noticing something about me. I drink a lot of coffee. I drink a lot of coffee. I usually have it in a Jesus coffee mug. I just love it so much. Like I love talking about coffee. I love talking about the science of coffee. I don't even like science that much, okay? I'll even travel a really far distance to get some really good coffee, right? But I know some of you are like, ugh, coffee is gross adult brown juice. How do you drink that stuff? Okay, so I just wanna get that out of our system. If that's you, I want you on the count of 3 to make your best, like I'm grossed out face. Okay, are you ready? So 1, 2, 3. Okay, all right, get it out of your system. All right, normal faces again, right? Okay, so I get it. Some of you are like, coffee is gross, but I love it. And I'm sure there are some of you who maybe you wouldn't travel a long way for coffee, but you would travel a long way for some other things. So let's raise your hands if maybe you would travel really far for Chick-fil-A. Right? Okay, yes, Jesus chicken. We would all travel far for some Chick-fil-A. And if there was a Chick-fil-A open on a Sunday, we would be running, right? Okay, but not all of you maybe are Chick-fil-A people, so maybe some of you would travel really far for the newest video game. You would travel super far to get that video game, right? Okay, hands down. Maybe some of you would travel really far, especially in the summertime, for some Boom Pilates ice cream. Raise your hand if that's you. Yes, Boom Pilates ice cream. You would travel so far for it, right? So maybe it's not coffee, maybe it's not ice cream, whatever it is, we all have these things that we really love that we'd be willing to travel a really far away for. And we see in today's Bible story that the Apostle Paul and his friend Silas, that they're willing to travel super far for something that they think is so important, that they think is so good. And that thing is the gospel of Jesus Christ. So we're gonna dive into today's Bible story and see how Paul and Silas travel so far to share the message of Jesus. So where we pick up in our Bible story is that Paul and Silas decide that they are going to go on a long journey so they can meet all kinds of different people and tell them about the love of Jesus. Now, Paul had already been on one trip like this before, and after that trip, he was like, whew, that was kind of exhausting. But then the love of Jesus just filled him up so much that he's like, I gotta do it again. I gotta go again. I gotta tell more people about Jesus. And so Paul and Silas set out on a journey. And as they're heading out, God tells Paul, hey, you've gotta go to this place called Macedonia. Everyone say that with me. Macedonia. It's kind of a funny name, isn't it? But Paul and Silas, they head out to Macedonia, and along their way and on their journey, they just talk to everybody they can to try to tell them about the love of Jesus. And so they're beep-bopping along, they're walking along, telling people about Jesus, and you know, not everybody liked it. Some people got actually pretty upset about it. Like there's this one part in Acts 16 where they run across the servant girl, and the servant girl, she had like this bad spirit in her, but the bad spirit could like tell people their futures, which sounds kind of cool, and people kind of liked it, and they were like making money off of this girl telling people their futures and stuff like that, but it was actually not good. So Paul and Silas are like, we have to take the spirit out of this girl in the name of Jesus. And so sure enough, they go up to this girl and they say, in the name and the power of Jesus, this bad spirit, you gotta go. And so he heads out, and people are like, that's the worst. We liked that evil spirit. And so what they end up doing is they put Paul and Silas in jail, which kind of sounds kind of crazy. It sounds like they helped that girl, right? But Paul and Silas get put in jail. And at this point in the story, you're like, man, that seems pretty hopeless. It seems pretty hopeless because, you know, Paul and Silas are trying to tell people about Jesus, and now they're in jail. How are they going to share the gospel message anymore? But here's the cool thing about Jesus, that the power of Jesus is unstoppable, no matter what, no matter the circumstance, no matter how bleak things look, the power of Jesus is unstoppable. And so we see that when Paul and Silas are in jail, all of a sudden, one night, there's this giant earthquake that the Lord brings about. And it's so big that the prisoners' chains fall off. The doors in the prison cells fling open wide. And when the person who's running the jail, it's called a jailer, when the jailer sees this happening, he gets so frightened. But instead of Paul and Silas like making a run for it, I probably would have made a run for it, right? Would you have made a run for it? Probably. But instead of that, Paul and Silas stay and they talk to the jailer and they say, hey, we want to tell you about the love and the power of Jesus. And something incredible happens. The jailer, not only the jailer, but the jailer and his entire household come to accept Jesus, and they are saved through the gospel message. What an incredible testimony to the fact that Jesus can even use crazy circumstances to share his love and truth and power. So Paul and Silas continue on their journey. Once the jailer gets to know about Jesus, then they're able to go on their way. And man, things are still difficult even after they leave the jail. They still run into crazy circumstances and difficult circumstances, but they never stopped believing that the power of Jesus was unstoppable. And so no matter the circumstance, they kept on just pushing through. They just kept on sharing the gospel with everyone that they met, no matter what. And I think something cool that I want to remind you guys of today is that the same power that helped Paul and Silas get through all of those circumstances, it's the same power that we have access to today. And so I want you guys to remember that no matter what circumstance that you're in, and even no matter your age, you can still rely on the unstoppable power of Jesus, and you can share the gospel right where you're at, no matter your circumstances, no matter your friend groups, no matter what your family situation is, you can still share the unstoppable power of Jesus. Well, guys, it's been so fun hanging out with you guys today. I hope that that was an encouraging message for you, but I gotta run. I gotta go get more coffee, all right? So I'll see you guys next time.